Welcome into Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. I am Tom Downey, and today's show is presented by True Classic Tees, both polos and t-shirts like I'm wearing today. Get 25% off your order at trueclassictees.com/chat when you use promo code CHAT. That link will be in the comments section and the description, along with the promo code as well. Trust me, if you're trying to find a shirt that fits properly, this is the right one for you. Coming up on today's show, some fairly noteworthy injury news on a variety of players, and some of which are very important players as well, and some Overreaction Monday, and you know we're going to talk a lot about Kenny Pickett from that standpoint. But first, it's trivia time. Before becoming the Steelers, what was the team name in 1933? The answer's coming at the end of the show. Get your predictions in for me. Not predictions, your answers, I should say, in the comments section. The hint I'll give you, if you don't know it, you're going to go, wait, really? That was the name? Yeah, we'll get to that later on at the end of today's show. But first, injury news here, of course, so impactful for the Steelers coming off let's call it what it was, a disappointing, disheartening loss. Several key players going down with injuries. The overall severity remains not yet known. Maybe Mike Tomlin will provide some insight later on today or Tuesday. And look at this. It's all defensive pieces. Ahkello Witherspoon, hamstring. Minkah Fitzpatrick, knee. Cam Heyward, elbow and ankle. Terrell Edmunds, a concussion. We'll know he'll miss some time. Cam Sutton, a groin and a hamstring, which maybe that's one injury since those are somewhat close together, right? The corners, both starters, are banged up. It leaves Levi Wallace, and we don't want to play James Pierre. We kind of know that from history and whatnot. Your starting safeties are banged up to go along with all your defensive pieces. There's like 5 healthy guys right now on that Steelers team. On the defense side of the injury bug has hit them in a major way, and I'll argue a very troubling way as well. The secondary issues, which was already the weak point of your team, that's rather concerning to be dealing with injuries on that front there. Oh, and of course, TJ Watt is on IR, set to miss around 6 weeks in total, give or take, so we're still a few weeks away from his eventual return. We'll call it the halfway point on that one. Hopefully it gets back sooner than later. Now, never miss a thing here on injury news, updates, and more here on Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. If you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe for free videos keeping you in the know with what's going on. Let's get into some Week 4 overreactions then after that not so great result. The number one story overall, the number one overreaction, of course, is on Kenny Pickett. So will he start the rest of the year? Is that an overreaction? I don't think it is. I think it's accurate. The second you insert your first-round pick, your assumed, presumed, and hopeful franchise quarterback of the future, you've got to stick with him. Now, I know Mike Tomlin said after the game, he's not ready to name a starter quite yet. We are also hours removed from Tomlin saying we're not going to make any changes to QB, and then he did it in the middle of a game. Don't listen to what Tomlin is saying publicly. That doesn't really carry much weight because never have you seen a coach go, I've made this change, announcing a post-game press conference. They always want to review the tape, right? Here's what Mike Tomlin had to say after the Jets game. I'm not going to talk extended as we sit here. We did what we needed to put ourselves in a position to win this game, and we'll do it again. But I just like to keep it where we are. In terms of what transpired here, we'll deal with next week. Pickett's your guy. Come on. The offense, despite the interceptions, moved the ball better with Kenny Pickett in charge. I'm still unconvinced on Matt Canada, but I would be shocked if Kenny Pickett wasn't your starter moving forward. Once you play him, once you put him in the game, and interceptions included, you had better offensive success. There's really no reason not to move forward with Pickett. Now, again, Tomlin can be maybe a bit of a wild card here in the end, but we went from Tomlin swearing they're not going to bench Mitchell Trubisky to making it like half a game and benching him. So I think it's pretty clear it is time to make Pickett your full-time starter moving forward. Now, if you agree with me and you want Kenny Pickett starting the rest of this season, show me you do by liking today's video right now. While you're liking it, make sure you check out trueclassictees.com/chat. I'm wearing a t-shirt right now. They also have polos, by the way. If you're tired of your t-shirts not quite fitting properly, maybe they're a little bit too tight or too baggy around here or certainly down there, whether you're a bigger guy or a smaller guy, True Classic Tees fit you properly and show off the parts of your body that you actually want to show off and help hide some of the others. A lot of great clothing, t-shirts, polos, and hoodies as well. 25% off when you use promo code CHAT over at trueclassictees.com/chat. I'm wearing one. I feel comfortable. Maybe Pittsburgh could benefit from some better look good, feel good, play good stuff like I do with True Classic Tees. Again, that link's in the comments section and the description of today's show. Overreaction number 3. The season is a rebuilding year. If you want to use the term reset, I think that's fine. And I'll never rule out Mike Tomlin making a run and finishing with 8 or 9 wins again, as he seemingly always does. But I think relative to other years, maybe that's how we should feel. With all these disappointment injuries and the quarterback being a rookie now, I think that's fair. By the way, the overreaction came from Diontae Johnson. Everybody wants to win. I mean, obviously it's a rebuilding year, but we're not going to use that as an excuse. Diontae Johnson said the quiet part out loud there, acknowledging it's a rebuilding year from your number one receiver. We can use the word reset if that's a bit more palatable for you, but I do think it is the reality of the situation. The Steelers, and I think the dip kind of began before the end of Big Ben's tenure, but outside of a couple of franchises ever, when you lose a Hall of Fame quarterback, there does tend to be a bit of a decline in your team, and if only in part because you've been so aggressive, been drafting so late, your talent pool is not quite the same. I will say this, though. I think this team is a little bit too talented to have just a top 5 pick. Maybe it's top 10, maybe it's top 15. I will never rule out Mike Tomlin making that big-time run there, but several disappointing losses in a row. I think they can get back on track, but they haven't hit the meat of their schedule yet. This has not been the most challenging start for Pittsburgh. It's going to get a little bit harder as the year goes on. Heck, you're a botched long snap away from the Bengals from being 0-4 and having real concerns there. Also some plays away from being 2-2, if not better. So open up your crystal ball for me. Predict the Steelers' record this season. Remember, 17 games. Let me know in the comments section if you think Pittsburgh can rally to around 500 or if it's going to be the first losing season for Mike Tomlin ever. One more overreaction. The Steelers will trade away Chase Claypool. Before the trade deadline, I'm going to go with an overreaction. I think there is a possibility of it, but remember, Calvin Austin's been banged up, probably not going to make the full-time switch there. Claypool has not been great. I do think down the line, with Johnson re-signed, with George Pickens showing such immense promise, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for him to be your key piece. This production is very disappointing, but I'll say this. I don't think they're going to trade him. He's young. He's shown talent before. He's on a very cheap rookie deal as well, and I want to see how Chase Claypool fares with Kenny Pickett full-time at QB. I don't want to take away a playmaker from my young QB right now. He's under contract through the season and next year, right? You've got time. You can ship him and shop him in next offseason. There's no rush to trade away Claypool. His deal's not expiring. So because of that, I would not panic trade Chase Claypool quite yet. I want to see how Pickett can fare with Claypool, with Johnson, with George Pickens, with Freiermuth, with Najee Harris, that very talented and young receiving core and playmakers, see how he fares, and if there's a drastic growth in production, it'll benefit Chase Claypool as well. All right, back to our trivia answer here. Before becoming the Steelers, what was the team name in 1933? The answer is the Pirates. Yeah, the baseball team was also the name as the football team, which I know is super weird, but that's how things tend to go, or way back then. Art Rooney correctly made a change there. The Steelers, a much better name than calling them the Pirates. I mean, that would have been real confusing with the Raiders and Buccaneers eventually also in the NFL. So Pirates is the correct answer. Congrats if you got it right. That is the end of today's video. If you made it to the end, makes you a real one. Type in "Here we go" in the comment section.